the lesson open. So I wasn't quite sure how I was going to simulate that with kids. But the purpose is to get them to understand that when you're a writer, you need to provide a lot of strong details and give your reader a lot of information. Picture the place in your head, just so they know where you are. Let's not even get into the fact that you need to then really, jazz up those details so that your reader can picture the place in their mind. It takes a lot of information just for them to understand, where you are. So this is how I did it via Zoom today, and it worked so well. The kids loved it. They asked if we could do an activity like this again. So I'm going to share my screen.
What I told the kids is that I had a place in mind and I was going to start sharing clues with them. And the first person to guess correctly with the least number of clues was the winner of the round. And I told them they only got one guess, and they had to put their guess in there. They weren't allowed to guess again. So this is what I did. So here was the first slide. It's freezing. It's dark. I'm surrounded by people but feel so alone. So by this point, people were making guesses. Like I had a couple kids guess like Antarctica after freezing, and then they lost their guess. They weren't allowed to guess again. So I'm surrounded by people, feel so alone. Then this one. Then this one. Then that one. Then that one. That one. But very few of them, were able to guess it. Like very few of them were able to hold their guess long enough so that it was right without waiting to the very end. So then I did this one. So by this point, everyone had guessed a roller coaster, basically the whole class. But they were wrong because it was a Ferris wheel. And then here was the last one I did. Right here, basically everyone guessed a zoo. Still guessing zoo. Still guessing zoo. Then they started to get a little thrown. And then
then once we were finished, we talked about what we learned. And I just let the kids, raise their hand in Google or in Zoom. They could, if they had their cameras on, they could raise it. If their hands were down or if their cameras were off, they could Zoom hand. And we talked about what we learned. And most of the kids really quickly were able to see that if you want your reader to be able to picture a setting, your setting, you need to give a lot of details. And you can't just give details that you see and hear, which I thought, like with the circus one of the kids said, I knew it as soon as you talked about the peanuts, but until then I really thought it was a zoo, and it could have been a zoo the whole time. So we talked about how all sensory details are important in here, which are the ones that kids always want to share because those are the easiest, but also, what you would feel, what you would smell, what you would taste, those are a little less obvious, and those are the ones kids tend to forget.